Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's been a long time. I feel kind of weird right now because it's been so long since I recorded a video, but I'm back with another one. And today we're going to cover the latest polls. So I know a lot of people have been talking about the polls in recent weeks. I haven't made a poll video in like a week and a half, which is pretty unnormal, pretty unusual for me, I should say. Usually I do make these videos, or at least I used to make them pretty much every day or every other day. Now I'm only doing them once a week, maybe once every week and a half. And you may be wondering why that's the case. Well, I've just been very busy. That's number one. That's probably the biggest reason. But number two, I just also don't think it's necessary for me to cover these polls every day. I don't think much really changes on a day-by-day basis. But on a week-by-week basis, it does change quite a bit. So I don't even remember what the number was last time I covered this. But 338 Canada has just updated their model. And this was updated today. So these are the newest numbers that we've been given. And I just want to note one thing. So last time I covered the popular vote, I think it was a 3-point difference between the Liberals and the Conservatives. It's now a 7-point difference between the two. So I think that's worth noting for sure. That's very interesting. I didn't think that would happen. Also worth noting, the Bloc has basically been pretty much destroyed. I wouldn't say they're as bad as the NDP, but there was a time where we were saying the Bloc would win 45 seats, 40 seats, whatever. They're now only projected to win 16. The Liberals are now projected to win 195 seats, which is down from 196. I did check that yesterday night. So they have gone down by 1 seat. The NDP has gained 1. But still, guys, the Liberals are projected to win a massive majority, 23 seats above a majority. So still not even close and not a contest in any way, shape, or form. Take a look at this. Odds to win the most seats, 99% chance the Liberals win a majority. Win the most seats. Odds of majority is 91% chance. A Liberal plurality is 8% chance. So basically a 99% chance they win nonetheless. If they do end up winning a minority, it's an 8% chance. The majority is 91% chance. So it's basically guaranteed that they win a majority. And I don't remember who it was exactly, but I was watching or someone said this. I don't know if I was watching or spoke to someone. But someone said that basically the week 1 polls that were going to be shown are basically the numbers that are going to end up happening or that are going to be registered on election day. So if you guys don't remember, if we go back, I'm going to see if I can do this on the day the campaign began. It's about 178 to 130. So I think this is where sort of the election is going to end up. I don't think it will be 195. I don't think it'll be even above 190 in general. I think if they get above 180, that'll be sort of a shocker just because that's a pretty huge number, considering the fact that they were literally, if we take a look right here in this view, they were literally projected to win 35 seats a few months ago, right before Trudeau's resignation. So if they win 180, that's, a miracle in and of itself. If they win, that's a miracle in and of themselves. Some people would even have said, if they even limited the Conservatives to a minority, that would have been a miracle. So just take a look at this, guys. It's insane. We're living in a crazy time right now. The flip is ridiculous. You take a look, when Carney was elected Liberal leader, the day of, it was 66 to 33 for the Conservatives. A week later, they flipped it to 55 to 44, and then they went up, and then they went down a bit, but then they went up, and now they're at 99% chance of winning. So it's basically guaranteed that the Liberals will win. Again, majority has basically, or was not even a question at one point. There was a 2% chance that the Liberals would win a majority the day that Carney was elected as leader, aka Prime Minister. And our leader and prime minister, and take a look. It's been almost a 89% shift in favor of the Liberals' prospects of winning majority. So again, the numbers are insane. They're not lying, obviously, and I think there's going to be a lot of people in my comment section. Go ahead. You know what? I was gonna say don't comment if you're not gonna have any nuanced approach, but you know what? If you really think the polls are so fake, go ahead. I want to hear it because it's just ridiculous when people say that, oh, the polls are fake or the polls are not real or whatever. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear this kind of stuff because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. By the way, they would say, oh, yeah, these polls are fake. But no, Kolosowski, I don't know who the hell these guys are. Kolosowski's strategy is correct. That's what these people would say. These people in my comment section, they're like, oh, fake polls, fake far left polls. And then they would see this one by Innovative. They would see this one by Abacus. And they see this one by Kolosowski. And they'd be like, no, these are the real polls. So don't pick and choose. Just be honest with yourselves. Okay, just be honest with yourselves. And again, I'm not saying that the Liberals are necessarily killing it in every single poll, but just take a look at the average. Take a look at the average. I mean, they're winning in nearly every single poll. I don't even know how many polls it's been by now. If we take a look, I don't know if it shows up here. I don't think it does. How many polls do we have? I don't really know how many it is. It's a lot, though. This is well over like 30 or 40. And there's only three. And actually, no, only two that show the Conservatives leading. And one of them is Kolosowski Strategies. And this is their first poll that they published. Okay, I looked them up, by the way. Kolosowski Strategies. And, you know, I've never heard of them. So maybe that's just me and I'm just stupid. But I've been in this, you know, political sphere. Actually, I don't know how you spell it. Kolosowski. Yeah, there you go. So I don't really know much about them. I don't know why it's not showing up. Yeah, there you go. I don't know much about them because, frankly, they haven't published any polls prior to this. But if you take a look at this, Liberals are still statistically tied with Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives. So again, you know, they do show that 41 to 39. They're basically also admitting that it's basically tied. And then again, if you take a look at distribution by region, it's still heavily favorable in favor of the Liberals. BC says 41%. I think that's sort of a stretch, but nonetheless, the Liberals would still end up winning in BC based on those numbers. You know, Prairies and Alberta, I don't think the Liberals really care about that. They'll lose that pretty much in every election. Doesn't really matter. Ontario, they're winning according to Kolosowski. And then they're winning in Quebec and Atlantic Canada. So, you know, based on this, based on the distribution, the Liberals would still win, by the way. And, you know, just to reiterate what I've said before in other videos, to break it down very simply for you guys, in order for the Conservatives to win a majority, they need to be up by 10 points on election day. Okay? 2 points by Kolosowski Strategies, who, you know, doesn't even have their own Wikipedia page and has uploaded their very first, or has published their very first poll for whatever reason in the middle of the campaign. You know, if that's showing a 2-point lead, that still would not equate to a majority or even a minority for the Conservatives. So I think, you know, it's now time to have the question, have the discussion, where do the Conservatives go from here? Now, I did want to touch on this one really quickly. So this is by Real Albanian Pat. Well, actually, it's not by him. It's by Main Street, but he just tweeted this. So I just wanted to cover it really quickly. So a new Main Street poll has shown a 2-point difference between the Liberals and the Conservatives. Now, people may be thinking, oh my God, this is incredible. The Liberals are now starting to lose support. Not that that's my view. I'm just saying some people in the comment section will say that. And my answer to that would be they're still projected to win a majority based on this. So the only way that they win a minority is if they're tied or if they're losing by 1 or 2 points against the Conservatives. Or actually, no, if they lose by up to 5 points by the Conservatives or against the Conservatives, that's as much as they can afford until they start to venture into, losing the election. So the Conservatives basically need a 5-point plus lead on election day to win a minority. They need a 10-point plus lead to win a majority. So this is not that good for the Conservatives, as some people have been saying. And then if you take a look at this, CBC has been, you know, I know I'm going to hear all the comments, oh, CBC is fake, and this, go ahead. Honestly, I'm not going to sit here and try to explain my case as to why CBC is a credible source. I think, frankly, any normal Canadian who has been following media for a long time knows that CBC is a credible source. You know, you can go ahead and cite Northern Perspective or National Telegraph or whoever that guy is. Wide Claypool, I think is his name. I don't know who he is, to be quite honest. I've just seen like one of his videos and he's wildly incorrect and just spreading complete, not only conspiracy theories, but just falseness. He just spreads false rumors, false information. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So if you want to cite him as a source, go ahead, knock yourself out. But I think I'd like to cover credible sources. And CBC is one that I'm very proud to say is a credible source and is a Canadian source, by the way, a very proud Canadian source. According to them, the Liberals will win 203 seats. I don't think that will happen, to be quite honest with you. But then again, they still have the Liberals at 93% chance of winning majority, 5% that they win a plurality. So it's again just corroborating the same ideas that we have seen, or the same thing that we've seen in the 338 Canada ones, and even the Poilievre one, which is 192 for the Liberals, 116 for the Conservatives. So folks, now I'm going to venture into the second part of this video, which is actually kind of sad for I would say for conservatives in general, where do we go from here? You know, if you're a conservative, not that I am one, or not that I'm a liberal either. I'm not political on this channel, like in nature. I'm not trying to spread my opinions on this channel. But if you're a conservative, and you know you have Pierre Poilievre, who had a 30-point lead, some would say, at some points. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that it was 20 points. Okay, that's being generous and that's being on the light side. If you had a 20-point lead and you lose it within the span of 3 months, you could talk about all the Trump and tariffs that you want. It doesn't really matter. But you still lost a 20-point lead. And now you're down by like 10 points, 5 points. You know, even being down by 1 point is embarrassing. A 21-point shift is not insignificant. If you're a conservative, where do you go from here? So to all the rational conservatives in the comment section, not the ones who are going to call me a radical leftist, to all the rational ones, where do you guys go from here? Because my question is, do you go even further to the right, which I don't think is the proper solution, or do you try to balance it out, try to be like a Doug Ford, or try to be a John Charest, or whatever it is? I'll tell you my honest view really quickly, and then you guys can let me know in the comment section. My honest view, I think if the conservatives want to have any chance of winning an election in the next 5 to 10 years or whenever, even if it's 4 years after Carney, because, you know, to be quite frank with you, if Carney wins this election, that's 4 terms of liberal governance. That is, by most measures, a political dynasty. And I don't want to go too deep into that because I don't think we shouldn't be giving credit to Justin Trudeau for this because, frankly, he hasn't done much in this campaign. But Justin Trudeau won 3 terms. If Carney wins, that's 4 for the Liberals. You know, it's about time that the Conservatives would have won this time around. It was about time. But they're not going to win. And I'm pretty confident in saying that. So my view is, you guys got to go to the middle. You guys go to the middle. Don't be radical. Okay, don't be crazy with your thoughts. Get an educated leader, someone who's very smart, someone who's, you know, not been in politics for 25 years of their life. That's one huge thing. And that was a big thing with Pierre Poilievre, by the way, experience. You need someone who's experienced, someone who's done something with their lives, someone who's done something with their careers. You can't have a career politician go up against one of the most accomplished bankers in the world, and not even just in Canada, in the world, and expect them to win automatically, because that's just not how it works. So my view is, you know, there's going to be some serious soul searching. And by the way, I do not think that Pierre Poilievre should stay on as leader if the Conservatives want to maximize their chances of winning the next election. I think it would be ridiculous if they kept him. And I think, to be quite honest with you, you're going to see a lot of pushback after they lose this election. And by the way, I'm saying when they lose this election because I'm very confident that they're going to lose this election. So if there's anybody who wants to comment right now and, you know, come back if somehow I'm wrong. If I'm wrong and the Conservatives win the election, I will shut down this channel. I'll do it. And I don't have any problem doing that because I'm very confident in my view. And I don't think that they will win the election. But in the odd chance that they do, if it's at less than 1% chance, according to 330 Canada and CBC, that they do end up winning, I will shut down this channel. So if anybody wants to keep record of that, go ahead. But I'm very confident. But nonetheless, I'll get back to the main point that I was trying to make. If the Conservatives want to have any chance of winning, get someone who's well educated. And by that, I mean, you know, has done a lot of things with their education. You know, Pierre Poilievre graduated just a bachelor's degree. Not that I'm really criticizing that, but I think he should have probably, you know, if you compare his education expertise versus a guy who was a PhD and graduated from Harvard and Oxford, people already see that and they're like, okay, that's not a big, or there's a big difference there, so that's not much of a challenge. Second of all, career experience. That's a huge thing. Okay, Pierre Poilievre has only been a political aide and an MP. Those are the 2 jobs he had. You know, he was like a newspaper boy when he was like 15, but that's not what we're talking about. Number 3 is political wit. Okay, Pierre Poilievre is not politically savvy. As much as people like him, he's not. He's extremely stubborn. He does not know how to run a campaign. He's clearly failing with his campaign. It's gotten worse and worse every day. He's a very aggressive person, you know, so he's not really able to resonate with the rational Canadians that are out there that want to listen to a lightheaded approach. So he's not able to win that respect. So get someone who's lightheaded, or not lightheaded, but more calm and I'm not saying be like the most subdued person, but I'm saying just be calm. Be calm. You don't need to be an attack dog, which is what Pierre Poilievre is. You don't need to be the most loud person in the room because, frankly, it's not working out for them. And the fourth thing I would say, and this is the biggest one, is ideological beliefs. Okay, the conservatives ideologically, especially in recent years, have been shifting more and more to the right. After Aaron O'Toole got ousted, they just shifted so right when Pierre Poilievre got elected. And to be quite honest with you, that worked for maybe like 2 years when people were angry. But once you got someone who was competent on the liberal side, it completely flopped. So ideologically, I do really believe that they should shift to the center. And Pierre Poilievre does not have the ability to shift to the center at this point for two reasons. A, it would just seem disingenuous, number one. And number two, he just does not believe in centrist Canadian values. He believes in extreme conservatism, which has been killing him in the polls. And, to be quite honest, he hasn't been able to pivot. The election is not about affordability or the carbon tax or housing or jobs. It's not about that anymore. It's about Donald Trump. Okay, and whatever you want to say, I don't really care. If people want to disagree, go ahead. But frankly, it has been about Trump and the tariffs. Affordability is second to that. It's just like this with tariffs. But that affordability question is unrelated when your country's sovereignty is being threatened. It's a completely different argument that we're having. And by the way, he has not done a good job of addressing the tariffs. He's not done a good job. He doesn't have a team. Okay, it's just him. It's him and Jenny Byrne. He does not have a team. So you need to, for all the conservatives out there, we need to have a serious conversation. Whether you're conservative, whether you're liberal, we want to see all the parties, come up with good ideas so that the country can move forward. The conservatives have good ideas. The liberals have good ideas. The NDP have good ideas. The Green have good ideas. The Bloc, it's a different story, but the Bloc also have some good ideas as well, especially when it comes to Quebec. Maybe not the separatism part, but you know what I'm saying. We need to have an environment in which everybody can respect those ideas. Clearly, Pierre Poilievre has not been respecting liberal ideas, and he does not like him. Okay, Mark Carney has done an effort. He has made concerted efforts to try to attract conservatives to his party. Pierre Poilievre has not made a concerted effort to try to attract liberals to his party. And I'll end off with this one last thing. I watched his Apple video the other day. Okay, I watched his Apple video. If I'm a conservative right now, I would say you need to stop and not promote that Apple video ever again. Because a lot of people, I've been talking to a lot of people, and they show me a clip. They'll be like, hey, take a look at this. They show me on their phone. And it's Pierre Poilievre eating an apple and answering this question. And they're like, oh my God, isn't he awesome? I'm thinking to myself, yeah, maybe for you it's awesome, but for the average Canadian, they don't care. And I've spoken to people who did not like it, by the way. I'm just giving an example of one person who showed me that. What I'm trying to make is that Apple video was horrible in terms of arrogance. He was very arrogant in it. He thought that he won. And it makes him seem like someone who does not want to answer questions. Watch the clip. I'm not going to link it in my comment section because I don't want to, I don't know where it is, first of all. I'll have to find it. But also, I don't want anybody to think that I'm affiliated with the Conservative Party or anything, or with the Liberal Party for that matter. So just watch it on your own time. It perfectly sums up the situation that the Conservatives are in right now. And it's not a good one. It was a very arrogant position that they came from coming into this election. Even 2-3 months ago, they were very arrogant. They thought they were going to win with a majority unlike anything ever before, with 240 plus seats. We're talking about the destruction of the Liberal Party. It's a different story. It's a different environment. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It's been a long time. I may not upload for a while, so don't be surprised. And make sure to check out my debate with Dan Freeman. I think I'm pointing in the right direction. Should be in the bottom right. That was a great debate. We had a great chat. We spoke about a lot of issues. We spoke about the candidates. We spoke about their policies. We spoke about Trump. We spoke about tariffs. We spoke about a lot of things, so please check it out. Make sure to like, subscribe. And check out Dan's channel as well. He's a great guy. He's a conservative, but he's very rational, and he likes to talk, and he's open to dialogue. And again, as always, thank you guys for the support, and I will see y'all in the next one.